Well, good afternoon, day, night, depending on where you are hiding on this planet. This is Nephente. I'm broadcasting from, as always, well, so far at least, always, from Stockholm, Sweden. And doing things slightly different. I will try to explain how it's different and stuff. But today it's Monday, the 20th of July, and believe it or not, this I think is my 17th webcast. From what I thought would be, as you know, I guess we all thought that it would be a fairly temporary situation where we ended up with this pandemic striking. But as it turns out, things are not as quick as we might at first at least have hoped. On the positive side is that I get to do this and I get to share it with you guys. And as you will most likely find out, there will be, I think, a bit fewer viewers finding this online because I felt I was flooding the NETHERBIRD sort of sphere of social media with these webcasts. And these webcasts are mainly, I mean, it's me as an artist and as a person blobbing and showing stuff. But I felt it was, since I've decided to keep on going, I will keep pushing stuff out weekly, and it sort of buries any stuff that is Netherbird related. So instead, I routed stuff to my personal Facebook page, and we also separated into a split YouTube channel, just to keep things neat and easy to find, and also easy to tell apart. But it means that until more people have subscribed to the YouTube page, YouTube profile, which you should, because it's going to be an amazing fucking channel, and to my personal page, there are a few people being notified when I go live, but that's okay. And as long as I'm not completely alone, and I make sure I'm not, because I bring a guest on. But also I'm happy to see that there are some people also finding their way into the chat here. If you want to say something, always feel free to. You can post stuff that you think I should check out, or comments, or just whatever, really. CKK is here. Bienen is here. But I can't really see who's online unless you guys post something. So if you want to be known, make your presence known, always feel free to dab a little something in the chat. I'm using a platform here called BeLive. I've been experimenting. Some might have seen that during the weekend, where I tried something called OBS Studio, and I think that would be cool, but I need much more computer power in order to make it do what I want it to do. But I tend to always go overboard with everything in life, including streaming software. But I had to sort of dig my way out of that rabbit hole before I completely disappeared into weird drivers and whatever was felt so needed. But in any case, it's great to see you guys here, and I'm delighted to be able to talk a little bit. But I think somehow these live streams, I will at least, I wanted to document how things were progressing and stuff, and we will quickly forget. But I just thought I'd share with you a little bit on how things are looking in Sweden right now. And this is like the graph over mortality cases. And I'm not going to dig super deep into it, but as you can see, right now things are looking, pretty bright. But that is from a really bad perspective. I mean, we have more than 5,000 mortalities in Sweden from something I never heard of. at the turn of the year. So that is really, I mean, it's hard to grasp. And if you look worldwide, this is like the current. So we have like more than 14 million infected on the planet, and 600,000 have perished from this disease. So and you don't have to be a mathematician to watch the graphs, and if you look on them, from a mathematical perspective, you can see that we are far from through the worst. So we'll have to just stick by the regime that I hope most people are following. That is, try to keep some, safe distance, wash our hands, and, try to be as sensible as possible through this very difficult situation. And I guess, 10 years from now, we will think that, it wasn't so bad. And I can't say for me that it's terribly complicated, but we have to keep doing what we do in order to get through it, and it will take time. Vaccine might come, might not come as quick as we hope, might be effective, might not be as effective. I mean, only time will tell. And until then, I mean, we just got to, struggle on. I did like a COVID antibody test, and it turned out to be negative, which surprised me because I was really not doing so well by the end of February. But it seems like I didn't have it. Anna, cheers. I will drink. Happen to know you're in Kiev. So cheers, guys. Delightful. Well, in any case, I mean, it's a pretty fucking shitty situation, and I've been talking to several guests over the weeks regarding it, and I mean, it's the same for everyone, whether you're stuck in Chile or you're in Canada or you're in different parts of Sweden. For the first time maybe ever, we're all in a very shared situation where we sort of realize how intertwined our world has really become, and how little something is China's problems or a Swedish problem or a Norwegian problem or American problem. I mean, it really is something truly global. And Gakei has heard here, and some of you might also have noticed that one of my bands, I'm in two bands. I mean, my main band obviously is NETHERBIRD, logo there. But I'm also in another band called RIKET. Currently, actually, more than half of NETHERBIRD is also in RIKET. This is how it tends to end up. And we released an EP this Friday. The difference, I mean, NETHERBIRD is more leaning towards melodic black death, and RIKET is leaning more towards crude death, maybe thrash even. So they're quite different. And also RIKET has all lyrics in Swedish, which might fuck things up if you want to, track them. And Google Translate can only help you, to a certain level, I suppose. But I was thinking to actually maybe share a tune with you guys here. But also worth mentioning is that I am broadcasting, if everything works, but I think so, both to Facebook, to the Facebook page of Nephente, and to this Nephente Talks YouTube channel. And Facebook have become more and more rigid and quick when it comes to killing streams where they think there might be copyright issues, and as soon as I actually play a song, even if it's my own song, it's a copyright issue because the rights belong to a label. And of course, no label in the world would be pissed, to have their music promoted. But Facebook doesn't really know that, so they will maybe kill the stream. But then it could be good to know that on YouTube, the streams tend to be uninterrupted. And what happens is that when stuff is stored on YouTube, if I use music, say I would play something with a brilliant band called Ash and Coal at some point, any ad revenue that video will make will go to the owner of their music, not to me. And rest assured, I make nothing from these streams. I lose money each month from my need of buying technology stuff, but I still enjoy it. But if the stream is interrupted, you could, and this is why you should subscribe, and maybe actually also always try to follow the stuff from YouTube, because there it will keep going. But in order to do so, you might need to subscribe to the channel. So I will just post it here in the chat. And I would like everyone to sign up, and also tell everyone that they should also sign up, because that way I get viewers, which is fantastic. But please just subscribe to the channel, because if the Facebook stream stops, you can always turn to YouTube, because I think it's to me it feels pretty paramount to be able to also share music in these streams, because they, I'm sure everybody here agrees, music is extremely potent. And to tell you that a band is really good is one thing, but to play you a song that will paint a completely different picture. In any case, so here we are, and I think I've been touching upon different subjects, and one subject that tends to come back now and then is what is true, and what is I guess the opposite would be poser, or untrue. And it's funny that how and also that is very different from if you ask a black metal fanatic or a thrash metal fanatic, they will have quite different definitions maybe of that. But I've always been pretty agnostic to what is, true and cool, or at least I try to. And I've been thinking a little bit on, why is that? And then I remembered when I was like 15, 16, I was starting out in my first band. It was a thrash metal band called Toxic Breath. And we were hanging out in Nässjö, a small city, where there was this rehearsal area and a stage, and a really cool girl was hanging around there also, and she was like 2 years maybe my senior. She was super old in my book then, so she was also super cool, and she was also stunning, so that is that. But at some point she had a talk. I don't know if it was just with me or more. I guess she felt that we were all too true. And she said that it doesn't matter what you wear. She said, I can wear a pink Mickey Mouse tank top, and I'm still as true as anyone, because I know what I think about music, and I stick by my guns. And she said it's not harder than that. And I think that actually affected me quite a bit, because she was obviously someone I looked up to and thought was really, fantastic. Not only super hot, but she was, much older than me, 2 years, maybe 3, I don't know. And also at that time, the girlfriend of a guitarist that I looked up to. So she, it was never a question about that. But what she said carried weight. And her opinion about, what people think and what is true and what is not true really struck me as something that I took to heart. So well, I'm not wearing a pink Mickey Mouse tank top, and that is because I'm sure it's illegal if I did, because I'm not a super hot chick. But I think as long as you know what the fuck you're doing and where you stand, you don't have to prove so much. But that is different from different people. But the question comes up now and then, is it, how real must something be in order to be real? And I think you must be sincere with whatever you do. Then it shows. I think honesty always shows, and it transcends whatever you say or whatever you write. It's through who you are and what you reflect and what you decide to do. That is much more important than mere words. I don't know why I had to say that, but the question comes now and then, I mean, are people faking stuff or whatever? And I think it's as long as you mean it, you can't possibly fake it. But if you don't mean it, if you do stuff in order to be, cut corners or reach a bigger popularity in a quick time or whatever, then maybe it is fake. But in any case, I have had, and this could prove to be the worst content ever, but it's mail day today, and I've got the package. And I will, I hope it's not my new porn DVDs or whatever format you buy such stuff on, but rather something else. It should be a vinyl. I'm opening it now. This is, this is intriguing. This is good content. People do this unboxing shit all the time, and that must mean it's cool. But it is cool if it is what I hope it is. And it is. It is. This, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Kvän, the Funeral Pyre, which is a super cool album where Jacob, this is his brainchild, Jacob Björnfot, who was one of my first guests actually, and I ordered this album 1,000,000 years ago. But I know how things are for small labels and with vinyl printing people in a plant somewhere printing stuff at their own tempo and stuff. But I'm super happy to have it. And this is why I now will also force you guys to listen to Kvän. And hopefully Facebook doesn't kill the stream. If they do, well, that's on them. Because if you haven't heard Kvän, I will post a link to it also, then you're missing out on something that I think is truly remarkable. So here we go. I will play a track from this album, just so you understand how important. is pretty fucking awesome stuff, actually. And this is the beauty, I think, of the undergrowth of the music scene, is that there is just such a wealth of remarkable musicians, remarkable bands, and since the early 90s, then it was Wild Rags. People who were then active know quite well about that label, whatever, distro. They were complaining that the underground is dying. And I've heard that ever since. Every year, people say, the underground is not what it used to be. No, it's not what it used to be, but it's still there, and it's still relevant, and there are still tons of new bands rising all the time. Though, of course, the circumstances tend to change, and we had a few years where it was quite easy for underground bands to not be underground, to act as we were not underground. We had MySpace. We could reach a much larger audience just by hard work. But the trap has shut again, and the underground is once again truly underground. It's so hard to reach an audience on Spotify, to even get on the official Spotify playlist. Is super hard. To post a video on YouTube and hoping it will reach tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of plays, it's just no longer not easy. At least you need the bigger labels to back you up. Then you end on the playlists on Spotify. You get high on the the iTunes. Your video will be posted on a huge channel with hundreds of thousands or millions subscribers. But in truth, what has happened is just that the underground is once again underground. That means that you got to look for stuff rather than just get it shown to you. And this is one of the reasons why I do what I do, is that I think there is no shortage of great music, or rising bands, or bands that certainly deserve and should have a much larger audience and have the stuff to back it up. But underground needs harder work than Then for a few years it was fairly easy to pretend you were bigger than you were, and you didn't really need. The labels lost the ball there for some time, but it seems like they fucking took it back. So if you're not on a huge label, you tend to have a hard time reaching an audience and building an audience. So a little bit less Elysian than it used to be. But that doesn't mean that the underground is not doing well. On the contrary, I think there are more fantastic bands now than perhaps ever. More and more people are playing. More and more people can access the music. They might not do it, but they could, potentially. I think people listen to more music today than they ever did. I have no statistics whatsoever to back that up, but everyone is wearing headphones and have a gadget connected to the web. So potentially they could listen to fantastic underground music all the time. They should. They don't. We need to help them. We need to educate them and to force them to like what we know. I'm just kidding. But in any case, in my quest to spread music, I tend to bring on guests here, and I do that because I want more people to find the music that I have fallen in love with for various reasons over time. And also because I know how fucking hard it is to find it. And if I can do anything to promote bands so more people can find them, the happier I am. And I do this live. Currently today we don't have so many viewers. That's fine, because this stuff, there is this long tail of the internet, is that, you know, people can find this stream in 2 years and they will find out about a band who you guys are, I am honored to meet, and you will be happy also, I'm pretty sure of it. But I will start by playing a song. This is a band. I was doing an extremely underground gig in Linköping, which is a fairly big town by Swedish standards, southwest of Stockholm, with RIKET. And we were setting up stuff there, and all of a sudden a song came on, and I just like, fuck, what is this? And Angus, the guy organizing the stuff, was within, you know, I could find him and, you know, corner him, because I was obviously too lazy to sound hound it or Shazam or whatever. And it turned out it was a song by a band called Ash and Coal, and it just, you know, it's just captivated me. And I will now do you the honor of playing the very same song for you guys and see if you... Oh, my multimedia skills. Hey, Viktor from Ash and Coal. What a surprise that you are behind your video.
Yeah. Yeah. Supposed to be.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm chilling out. Been working a
Yeah,
bit today. Uh, trying to get the kids not to
yeah,
argue, fight,
life, I
you
suppose.
know. Life,
How is
yeah.
the pandemic affecting you? Do you still go to work, or how is stuff?
Yeah, I do. I I run a company, and we have had a couple of cases. One for now who's will be home to beginning of August, but otherwise we have managed well actually.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad to hear it, and thank you for joining. Like I said previously here, I stumbled across your music a year ago at one of the venues.
yeah,
I can't remember which one.
Crypt. No,
No, the other one. Where
Palatset.
oh,
No.
oh fuck, my memory.
Quilten. I don't have more.
I wasn't sober, but I really love the venue. But it was one of these places in Lidköping. I think it's closed now, but it was yeah. And I
Okay.
just stumbled across your music there, and it just spoke to me. So I've been a raging fan ever since, and
Oh, nice.
and every time I
Mm.
play music, every time you play your music, this album, this song is like an upbeat, pretty catchy, easy to
Yeah,
get into, but the album is really diverse, the Legacy
yeah,
album, because you have everything from almost singer-songwriter stuff to this stuff. You're such a huge spectrum.
yeah. That was kind of all the influences I've had through the years, coming together in one mix and trying them to somehow fit together. You have your thrash and death and black metal roots. Then you have the kind of hardcore and Danzig punk roots,
Yeah.
and of course some maybe Johnny Cash and Thåström, even maybe. And
Uh, Pretty fucking imposing names.
yeah, yeah. The thing was to kind of mix it and make a unit of it somehow,
And
and
you really did.
kind of,
It's bold as fuck. I mean,
yeah.
we I think everybody would love to try to make such an album, but I mean, you have the guts to pull it off. So, if you were to take four bands that were in your inspiration cocktail for Ash and Coal, which four names? You mentioned a few, but
Yeah, always Danzig and Thåström, because how they write songs, quite simple. It might be only one riff through all the songs. The only thing that changes is the vocals or maybe the drum beats and kind of a melody in the background, something like that. So they are two of my main influences. And then you have a mishmash of all the 19th death and black metal melodies and moods in there, maybe in the background somewhere, and maybe in the lyrics as well. So it's hard to pick just one, but in the 90s, at the gates, early at the gates, dissection,
yeah.
these kind of bands.
I mean, you've been around the block for a while. I know I'm young. I'm older than you, but not so
Yeah.
much older. So, but you've been doing. I mean, you've been in the darker side of underground metal for a long, long time.
Yeah.
What did you do before Ash and Coal? Because that started in 2008, right?
Yeah, 2008, I started that, and the first kind of demo was 10 years ago. before that, I played in Corporation 187, the thrash death band, kind of like At the Gates, but maybe with a more American accent here and there. So we did that in the early 2000s to 2007, I think. Before that, I had a couple of smaller death, black doom, thrash bands demoing around, trying something, trying to learn to play the guitar.
Yeah, but I mean, you do the vocals also, right?
Yeah.
I think it's really gutsy stuff. I mean, were you always, confident in your ability to sing, or is that something that you tried later on?
No, I tried that in my thrash band, Thornclad, in the 90s, but then it was almost only will, no technique, so I blow my voice all the time. But when I started doing this, I kind of relaxed more, and I found where my spectrum was. So nowadays, I'm still learning it, but I think it's fun in a way. It's not something I'm forced to do. I think it's fun to experiment with harmonies and lower voices and higher and a little more screaming voices. So I think in Ash and Coal is going to be maybe a bigger part of it.
And I have to say, I was, really blown away by the album, also by your singing, because it's not simple stuff. The rhythmic stuff is obviously there already from your previous bands, but this is also, like I said, it's gutsy to do clean vocals like that. Did you have a good producer, or how did you produce it yourself, or how did you do it?
I did demos of all the songs. Pretty good demos where I did all the main harmonies in the vocals and all that stuff. Then I sent it up to Tom van Hesje, who produced it in Stockholm in Big Island Sound Records. And me and him worked on it and worked on the arrangements. And it more and more, he pushed me more in the studio as well. So that's what I needed, I suppose. So,
I mean, it's tough to go in and perform, or at least to me, every time it's like it's the first time I do this.
Yeah,
it's a very fucking naked position for a man to be inside a recording booth.
Yeah, it is. You stand there. Oh, can anyone hear me now? You're screaming,
Exactly.
Kind of embarrassing, but you let it go after a while, and just the first song we did in the Legacy record, you get a little bit stiff in the vocals, but then it loosens up and it feels more natural.
Yeah.
So once you get over that threshold.
Exactly. I mean, that is, of course, I mean, in the end, you have to stop caring. You have to just, sing your heart out and, fuck it. I'm going to be dead in 50 years, so it doesn't really matter. But,
it's a funny fact. The one song you play there, you can almost hear my song is on the brink of going down. I'm screaming my ass off there for a whole weekend. So. And Tom wanted me not to cut in words, then just sing verses, whole verses, and then he took the best bits of it. So you had to do the whole verse and the whole chorus.
It's really tough, but in the end, because I remember from the early recordings I did with NETHERBIRD, we almost, it was just word by word, more or less.
Yeah, I
and in the
know.
and that's easy, but in the end, it sounds fucking awful now when I listen back. I mean, what the fuck was I doing? There is no soul whatsoever.
No, you don't get that flow in a way. I don't know. It's something, and it almost is. If it's better, if it's a little bit off somewhere, but you still have the essence of it. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of I always return to this, that, in the early 90s, we couldn't do things perfect. We did as the best we could.
Yeah.
We didn't have the budget or the tools to do things. Every take was, you and that was the same with rock and roll in the 60s. I mean, Painted Black is nowhere perfect, but it's great because it's what it is.
Exactly.
It's honest.
And I think that's a hard thing to do today with all the technology. You have to be there with your little finger and adjust it,
Yeah.
I think it's hard to do that kind of Rolling Stones, Beatles recordings today.
Yeah.
So,
and also, I think the younger audience also, they think you're bad if you're not, everything is gridded 100%. And I mean, but to me, I think that will sound much more dated one day, these perfect productions, rather than the soulful ones. This is why Johnny Cash will always be cooler than, whatever is, quantified and shit.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't know if it's a generation question or whatever, but it might come back, the cycles and all. You see a lot of bands now maybe performing and doing records live more and more again.
Yeah.
Than just record bass and drums and then guitars and vocals.
Why not?
So that's something that maybe we will try future as well.
That would be cool, actually. Yeah. And the Danzig, I mean, you have the Danzig touch to it, which is like, it's so hard to do something so simple, or rather, it takes so much courage. But you pulled it off. Everybody that I play this album to thinks it's fantastic. Everybody does.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's true. It's easy to be, kind when it's honest. But I have a question. It was actually submitted to me because I mean, obviously, the band is called Ash and Cold.
Yeah.
And ash is the final result of intensive fire. Coal, on the other hand, can burn further, and it's actually it can feed the fire. And in both there is like death, but it's also rebirth. The phoenix and so on. What's the story behind the band name?
I took it from a Marduk lyric. Come closer, ash and coal. Perish in flames and play again.
Fucking hell. Fucking Marduk. I fucking love it.
I listened to that album when it came out a lot, and I read the lyrics. And
it stuck with you.
It stuck. Maybe I didn't reflect then, but then I get back now. Oh, there it is again.
Yeah.
And then these references that you said earlier here even came up to me. It can mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
So it felt good.
Oh, that's Morgan for you. I mean, Morgan and Marduk, the stuff they made, you can dig so much deeper into it. Most people don't. They just, headbang. No. But you can really, you can get deep into Marduk, and there's so much thought and effort put into their music. I think it's remarkable stuff.
Yeah, and the kind of relentless attitude.
Yeah, exactly.
As well.
I mean, nothing sticks to them. They just do their thing, and people can like it or they can get the fuck out. It's very black metal. I mean, speaking about trueness, they stick to the guns and they do their thing.
Yeah. This is just one of the bands that followed me through, early 90s. I was at Marduk gig in '93 at Norrköping with Dissection, and since then it
Actually,
just went on.
was that small place? Fuck, I was there too.
Kammaren.
Yeah.
93. Some, I don't know, end of '93, I think.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy as well, I think. Hypocrisy, Dissection, and Martyr. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty good trio bands there.
It was. And there was the evil true spirit in '93,
Yeah, I remember there was blood on the pavement outside because people really took it all the way in those days.
I know. Many of us were kids as well.
Fuck yeah, we were.
Yeah.
And look at us, we haven't really grown up. Still, we're here,
Still listen to the same bands.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Ash and Cole, I have to ask also. This is because the video that we just saw. It's a lyric video, and it's made by Claudio.
Yes.
But he has also worked with a band whose singer was doing guest vocals. They Open Up and Bleeds. Joel. He was doing backups vocals for the album, right?
Yes. He's a friend of Tom, was the producer, and kind of an acquaintance to me, since he is from Östergötland as well. So he just came and helped me out with a high pitch.
Yeah.
I know. and just add another flavor to my voice. In some songs that stood out a bit.
He's a super cool vocalist. Open Up and Bleeds is a really cool band, actually, and they have some really cool also the videos. They've also done videos with Claudio, it's a small world.
Yes, it's small.
There is a question here from Jane Steg. Are you guys working on a new album?
We're not working on an album, maybe, but songs. We will see if it's going to be an album, but maybe we'll do a couple of songs and do videos for them.
Yeah.
I mean, not lyric videos, more proper videos.
Yeah.
And spend more of our money on that, just to promote. Maybe do a single and then wait a few months and release another single. Something like that. For us now, we have our work and family and stuff in the band, so the time isn't there for us. So we kind of want to strip it down to focus on just going in and do a couple of songs and really focus on that on them. So we have one now that we're going to focus on now.
Cool.
So, and then if we do this and it's going to be 10 11 songs, maybe we do an album of all them, and we'll see.
I mean, these days, to be honest, it seems to be more important to be releasing stuff continuously rather than full albums, because nobody actually hears an album anymore. They listen to one song anyway.
Yeah, sadly. I know. Sadly, I know, and I kind of lost that too. Sadly, I go down here in my crypt and try sometimes, but not as often as you did when you were 20, 25.
No.
You were. It's a kind of different thing, but the music is always there. It's always in the back of your head, in all your thoughts, in everyday life as well. I think it shapes you all the time. So inspiration will come all the time. If I hear music and new music or old music, the inspiration will come.
I think it's a little bit, if you've been doing this, I mean, you've been doing this for 20 years, more than 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's hard to even ask about how important music. It's like asking a fish what is water. You're living in it all the time, and it's you would die without it. I mean, that's how it feels to me.
Yeah, I feel so. I mean, when I scroll the Facebook or YouTube, it's almost all music. It's or if it isn't music, it's guitars or pedals or something, or amps or something to relate to music anyway.
Yeah.
So
some way to burn your money. I mean,
yeah, exactly. It's down here.
yeah. I mean,
you should see upstairs. It looks like shit.
But this is also how it is. I mean, but people always ask. I guess you get the same question. Oh, do you make any money from your music? But nobody asks a person playing golf if they're making money from their hobby. They never do. But I mean, maybe you gain something else. I mean, a purpose and a lot of meaning, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It's it's a part of my life. It's therapy to go down and write songs and go on stage with a band and feel the energy and excitement before it. It's
it never gets old.
No, it never gets old. So something you have to do. Yes.
And I think for me, I mean, from my perspective, I mean, I even get a little bit nervous or tense before I do these live streams because I work with music because it's so important to me, and it will never be something I take for granted or I just do this. I've done it a million times, whatever. Every time it matters to me. Every time. I don't want to bring you on and want you to think, oh well, that guy doesn't care. I care a lot, and I mean, so I mean, I burn for this, whatever it is we are doing.
Yeah, but I can see that when I see what you're doing. You have the variety of bands as well, so you have a broader taste in music. So that's really cool.
Trying.
I'm trying as well.
But I will not keep you forever. But I need to ask you. I mean, the plans. I mean, short term, yes, you will record a few songs, maybe make videos. But maybe next year or the year after that. Where do you see Ash and Cole doing?
I see us, kind of doing that in a way, but maybe in a in a faster pace. So the years go so quick. Yeah, I know. When in the 90s there when Slayer had a gap between Seasons in the Abyss and Divine Intervention. It was huge. 4 years was huge back then between albums. But now, I don't know. We'll try to do that, and maybe as someone wrote her, do an EP or something when we have a couple together, and then go out and try to get some gigs, which it's hard sometimes because see what happens with all the clubs and so forth as well.
I mean, it's always difficult. But you guys need to play Stockholm soon because I haven't seen you guys play live, and I am dying to do that actually. And I'm not kidding here. I really want to see you guys play. So I hope it happens. You should play Fredagsmangel in Jakobsberg. Do you know the organizers there?
No.
Okay.
You can tip me on.
Let's make it so, because it would be awesome if you guys could play Stockholm as soon as possible. Next year, sometime.
Yeah. We're ready. We rehearse now. It's been a while, but when we do, it's it's in there. So a couple of rehearsals and we're good to go.
Yeah, that's cool. Rika, also a friend of mine from Moscow. I mean, your music is catching on here and there. You never know. But
Yeah, great.
If you could, I will, brain pick you on two questions more. If you got to decide, which artist would you play support to? Besides Marduk, obviously, but or dancing,
or dancing. But I don't know. Just thinking now, But I don't know. But kind of open up and bleeds and all the friends you have the kind of similar thoughts about music and kind of would be good bill somehow.
That would be a really cool bill, actually.
Yeah.
I might have seen them live. It happens at festivals that you might have seen a band, but you're not sure.
Yeah.
I might have seen them.
Neither happened.
Yeah. Once or twice. Okay, final question. If you could pick an artist to collaborate with on a song, who would be the dream? To sit in a room or nightmare or both. I mean, to just write a song together with one person. Who would you pick?
Ooh.
I know it's impossible. I couldn't answer that fucking question, but I ask you.
No, it's hard. I think the ones that I've mentioned, I think they're hard to work with. They have their visions, I don't know. Maybe some. I think maybe guest vocalist or guest guitarist or something like that could be cool. Doing kind of a one verse there with my voice and one verse with another voice and something like that.
That's cool. And I mean, there's
been a lot of these female artists like Louise Lemon or what they call Chelsea Wolfe or something like that would be cool. Duet.
Louise is super cool. I mean, Chelsea, of course, but I mean, Louise, she's super cool also. I mean, what a fucking talent. I can't stand people with that talent. They're too good.
Yeah, I know.
It's painful.
She's called Nicole Savonnet. She's good too. Like, kind of a dark synth industry. Not my genre, but some of it I like really much.
That's cool. And I mean, you have sort of progressed and transcended from the extreme metal into just dark underground music, and then basically the world is open. There are so many different artists you could work with.
David Vincent would be cool too.
Not too bad, actually. I actually never met the man, but I think he can be hilarious to work with, actually. From what I heard.
Seems like it.
He seems to like a drink or two also. Always makes everything easier. But Viktor, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for taking the time to join this.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And I urge anyone who listens to that you should check up Ash and Coal. There's an EP and there's an album out. There might be more stuff coming. I also know that the record label you guys are on are extremely happy about the release. I mean, I mean, really, you don't get that every day from record people, label people. Like, it's a great release. I'm happy you're pushing it. I agree.
So, I know. So we got to get things going here. More
definitely.
Maybe this is a push, you doing
You know,
this.
I'm not the only one who gets so good at this. So I mean, but this is the underground. We need to push
Yeah.
the music we love because nobody else is doing it. This is
No.
just how it works. It's always
Yeah.
been like that. That's how it should be, I think.
Yeah. I love that too.
But thank you, man.
Yeah.
Stay safe. Wash your hands, and I hope to share a beer with you after your gig in Stockholm. I'll send
Yeah.
the coordinates for the gig organizer. Hopefully,
Brilliant.
something could happen.
Yeah. It would be nice.
All right.
Yeah.
Cheers, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. All right, guys. So it's always a pleasure and always, a privilege for me to be doing this sort of chats. This is, I mean, seriously, it's the first time I speak to Viktor, and I am just, fanboying over the stuff because it's really, you don't see music that is so profoundly good every day, especially not, it's I wouldn't say it's easy to make a black metal album that is great, but it would be easier to make a black metal album and make it fly with me because I know exactly what I'm looking for and stuff. But Ash and Coal is so much more. It's a wide spectra, really, like from Johnny Cash, Danzig to upbeat, whatever Metal Archives call it, gothic metal. I think I might not 100% agree with that definition, but it transcends. But still, it's underground. Still, it's really vital and cool stuff. So I'm delighted to be able to share, one of the creators of this music with you guys, and I urge you to check them up. In any case, this wraps it up for me for today, on this 20th of July 2020. And I hope you guys are staying safe, and that you will keep, dropping by. Please let people know about the YouTube channels so they subscribe, and we can together build something where we can tip each other off regarding good music, because that's why we're all here to begin with. And now I just wish you a pleasant evening or continuation of the day or night, a little bit depending on where you are. And I know at least Jade is gonna watch this in retrospect in Australia, since she's an Ash and Coal fan, and that is how it should be. There should be more Ash and Coal fans out there. And take it from me, I'm a huge fanboy here. So stay safe and see you guys in a week. Cheers.